reply back when you reach out to them after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 A follow-up is definitely following up is very key. Anybody else? Nobody else? Come on, there's a lot of you guys on here. None? Okay. Yeah, so some challenges that I'm kind of encountering right now is yeah, I mean it's about mostly to working your hardest to get leads and get clients. Right right now I'm actually farming again and I'm touching base with my sphere again and I'm getting deals. So I feel like I kind of was lagging on that for a while and I wasn't closing anything myself. But now that I'm actually doing the work and I'm out there and I'm, again, farming and doing what I should be doing, I'm finally getting deals again. So I'm back in business. But yeah, so was everybody able, were you guys assigned accountability partners? No? Okay.
No.
Okay. We'll
Nope.
skip that. All right, that's fine. Okay. So we're on number 16. Let's see. Work with buyers and sellers. And then so at the end of the session, you'll be able to identify the key information to build success with the buyers and sellers, employ strategies to assist buyers and sellers with their decision making, build a strong, successful foundation relationship with their clients and co-op agents. To start thinking about what you will learn today, let's consider what questions we might have and what we'd like to learn more about. So it's saying to find a partner and have 5 minutes conversations about your questions and what you'd like to learn more about and to jot notes. But I'm not going to give you guys partners. Let's just all, kind of get together. So what are some things that you guys would like to learn about?
How to actually get listings other than going to open houses and getting buyers.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Nice.
I agree with listings.
Listings?
Yes.
Yeah. So a good way to get listings, I know you guys can check the MLS to see what listings have been expired, maybe which ones were canceled. And I just had one of my agents call me right before this class and say that, that was one of his things that he wanted to do was get more listings. But I told him, find out which ones were expired, find out which ones were canceled and go with the CMA, go with comps, go with a price at what he would list the property at, and just go knock on their door. I know it's kind of scary going door knocking. Door knocking was never one of my personal choices, but it works. It works. It does work. So that is one way to do it. I mean, I really feel like that's strong because sometimes when they actually see you there, it's kind of hard to turn you down. And then when they see what you've brought to them, they obviously want to see how much their house could be worth or could sell for and what you have to offer as an agent. So I feel like that's a good way to get some listings. Yeah. Anybody else? What else are some things you guys want to learn or want to focus on?
Conversion.
Conversion? Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Conversion, I mean, in order to, you got to get a lot of leads. What is our quote that leads solve all, I don't know, one of those things, one of those quotes. But yeah. Anybody else? Have you guys created maybe like buyer presentations or listing presentations?
No, I haven't done that.
Okay. So I would, if you're a new agent, get with your coach. Hopefully they could help you get that so that when the time comes, if you do have a buyer come to you or a seller come to you, you have those ready and you're ready to go. So yeah.
I
So
have one in draft, but it's not complete.
yeah, I think that's honestly best for you guys. Start working on that. If you guys have a little time here and there, work on it and try to get a buyer presentation put together and a seller's presentation or listing presentation put together. Because again, if somebody comes up to you tomorrow and they're like, "Hey, I want to list my house and I know you have your license. Like, can you help me? Can we meet up today? Because I want to know how much my house is worth." You guys would kind of be like, "Oh my God, what do I do?" Right? So work on that. Try to get that put together and then it'll be ready for you whenever you guys are ready. Okay. All right. So on today's agenda, we're going to do success with clients, success with buyers, success with sellers, success with co-agents, recap and ahas, and then daily success system. So virtually every top producing agent we have ever worked with has a deep and almost inherent sense of service. They have a servant's heart and a place their buyers or sellers' real estate experience above all else. They are always thinking service, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Have you guys read this book yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. This definitely, you guys need to read this. This is like the Bible of Keller Williams. So definitely take the time to read this if you guys can, and I'm sure some offices probably have some in there. So yeah. All right. The point in the transaction we are focusing on today is the time between getting a signed buyer or listing agreement and receiving or making an offer. However, just as you are going to take aspects of lead generation into the transaction, you'll of course take aspects we discussed today through and past closing. Our first topic is success with clients. Let's cover the things you can do with both buyers and sellers to make this process as transparent and smooth for them as possible. The key to success with clients is communication. We've covered this in many ways so far, including the assistance that Command and the KW app provide in making sure you're communicating with value to SOI, leads, and clients. Great communication is the foundation for great relationships with your clients. Remember, they are trusting you with what is likely their biggest financial decision and what will serve as the foundation for their lives and the lives of their family. Look in your participants guide. Do you guys have your guides with you?
No.
I think there's a page on there for you guys. And then you need to make sure that your communication in these instances provide a strong foundation for a sustainable relationship. Set and manages expectations proactively throughout the transaction. Creates peace of mind for your clients and enhances your credibility. It's important to recognize that you can rarely over communicate with clients. This is a complicated process that they will only navigate a few times in their lives. You will continually set expectations and keep everyone on track with your communication. And as we've mentioned, Command and your KW app are here to help automate that process. This is pretty big for me. Communication is really, this should probably be number one. You always want to communicate with your clients. Being real, I don't even know how to explain it. If there's even like a slightest miscommunication, you don't want your clients to never trust you. You want to always be, there for your clients. If they call you, this is probably the most stressful time of their lives, purchasing such a big, house and, spending all this money. So communication is definitely key. All right. The 3 levels of service: purpose, value, proposition, fiduciary. In addition to the 4 underlying ideas you need all your communication with clients to convey, let's remind ourselves of the 3 levels of service from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Remember, by keeping these levels in mind, you will serve your clients to the highest level possible. Purpose. Masters of service have a clear understanding of why they should be hired and can articulate it to anyone at any time. Great service begins with a clear purpose for why someone should work with you. Value proposition. The best agents can translate their purpose and why people should hire them into a specific set of services they will provide. Fiduciary. Highly productive agents. Sorry, people are trying to come in. There we go. All right. Fiduciary. Highly productive agents provide a level of service based on their commitment to act as a fiduciary for their clients. They place their clients' interests above all others, even their own. A fiduciary brings a level of care and trust to the relationship that a functional agent does not. All right. Functionary versus fiduciary. So let's dig deeper into the last concept, fiduciary. We discussed this way back on, I guess on day 2 in Real Estate Expert. When you operate as a fiduciary for your clients, you earn the right to be their expert of choice. Who remembers the difference between a functionary and a fiduciary? Do you guys remember?
Let's see, a functionary is a specific task relationship, and fiduciary is a high trust.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, there was some chats going on. All right. Yes, absolutely. So exactly what you said. A functionary has a specific task relationship with clients. They do the job by dotting the I's and crossing the T's. A fiduciary is in a high trust relationship with clients and always puts their best interest at the forefront, even before the agent's own. So this also too is having a genuine passion for real estate and having a genuine passion for getting your clients that house that they want, despite your commission you're gonna get. Or, even if, like, for example, if your buyers want to buy a house and the commission rate that they're going to give the buyer's agent is 1%, it does suck for us, but it's in our best interest for our clients to get that house. So I don't care what the commission is, unless I just want to make sure that they get the house that they want. Honestly, I don't even think I even look at the commission until like we're in contract. Sometimes I just don't even. I don't realize, I don't look. But that's because I genuinely want my clients to be happy. So it doesn't really bother me. So look to your participant guide for the chart from MREA detailing the differences between a functionary and fiduciary, and then briefly go over the chart offering some examples. I think that there's a chart there, but it's okay. All right, dual agency. When an agent represents both the buyer and the seller, remember your fiduciary commitment to your client. This is a good topic. So if the dual agency is illegal in your state, then I don't think it applies, because I know we have multiple states here. What states are you guys' states dual agency, or is it illegal to do that?
It's legal here.
It's legal.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Legal here in Minnesota. Legal here in
Okay.
Minnesota.
Okay, cool. Minnesota. All right, cool. So this is a great place to bring up the concept of dual agency, working for both the seller and buyer on a transaction. Though this is legal in many areas, it is not advisable, especially as a new agent. Many infractions that endanger an agent's license stem from this practice. Being in a fiduciary relationship with your client means making all decisions based on their best interests alone. This is a challenge. This is challenging when you are working for two parties with competing interests. Will your buyer expect that you're telling them everything about a house, even items that may not be required to be disclosed? Will your seller expect that the offer you are making on behalf of your buyers is their best offer, since you have knowledge of their pre-approval amount and finances? Okay. So this is an example out in the Bay Area. It is actually very common. I have a listing at 1.226 in the Bay Area, and it's very common for buyers to come in without agents and wanting you to represent them because they feel it is a easier way to actually get the house. So specifically with this house that I listed, I wrote offers in for 3 buyers. But at the end of the day, obviously I had to ask my sellers if that was okay, and they were totally fine with it. But at the end of the day, it came down to 2 buyers, and one was mine and the other one was a different buyer with a buyer's agent. And the buyer's agent came up to 1.6, and my buyers were willing to go up to 1.6. So I was in a struggle, like, okay, well, their contingencies and stuff like that, they removed all contingencies and my buyers won't, So at the end of the day, even though I was missing out on that huge commission and the dual agency and everything, I knew that my sellers would have a better offer and a better deal with the other buyers. And that's totally fine. Again, you have to genuinely want the best for your clients, period. So which of our WI4C2Ts, ES with the new E, apply to not representing both sides? I think this is going to be a hard question for you guys, but it's win-win and trust. I still don't remember the WI4C-Ts, Es, S. All right. So in addition, you owe confidentiality to both parties. How can you be sure you are not giving away confidential information, even accidentally? Here are some things that can go wrong with dual agencies. Are you really prepared to negotiate against yourself? When negotiating inspection items, how will you make the seller's case to the buyers that the HVAC system is in working order and therefore should not be repaired while telling the seller that the system is close to the end of its useful life and therefore should be replaced or covered by a seller-paid home warranty? Both are legitimate representations of the same issue. They just come from different perspectives. Sorry, I'm still admitting people. Sorry. Would you ever go to court against someone who shared your attorney? No, right? So would you feel like you were getting the best representation possible while your lawyer spent half of their time working for the opposing side, if not refusing to do dual agency may be the best course of action for you? Many agents will work both sides of a transaction. However, it's something to think about carefully, especially as a new agent. And as new agents, you guys have your productivity coaches to guide you through. And Keller Williams is we're family. So even if you're not in the coaching program, there's always your broker you can ask, your team lead, your ATLs, everyone's there for you. We're all family here. If you make it a practice not to work both sides of a deal, you can add that to your value proposition so that your clients know they will always have your time, expertise, and honest advice throughout their transaction without any competition. All right, so we're going to set expectations. So it says to refer to your participant guide. So we've talked about the 3 levels of service and revisited being in a fiduciary relationship with your clients. You could see those as the what of being a great agent. Now let's talk a bit about the how of being a great agent. How you reach the 3 levels of service for your clients is largely about communication and education. As a real estate agent, you are immersed in buying and selling houses every single day. It's your job for a lot of us. It's our passion as well. For our clients, this is something they may never have done. Even if they are a repeat buyer or seller, they are unlikely to do this more than every 8 years or so, according to the NAR statistics. The stakes are huge. For most of us in the United States, our homes are our single biggest asset. Therefore, you are going to demonstrate your expertise by educating your client on the realities of the market, as well as their personal real estate process, and you are going to do it often. To do this, first you need to set expectations for the process and for communication. So there's a couple things I wanted to touch base on here. Let me see, where was it? Okay, so communication and education. Every single deal you guys do is different. So you're going to learn with every single deal you do, even if you don't close a deal, during that time you're doing a transaction or you're in negotiations or you're writing offers or talking to them or anything. I mean, you're going to learn something new with every single deal you do. I mean, I've been in the, business for 8 years and I still learn. I still learn. Today I learned how to write a seller finance offer. S- I've never done a seller finance, so today I did that. So yeah, I mean every deal is completely different. You're gonna learn something new every time. All right. So review the transaction process. So partner with an agent, get pre-approved for a loan, set clear search criterias, find your home, make an offer, negotiate the terms, under contract, vendor coordination, negotiate inspections, appraisal, pre-close preparation, closing, and post-close. So a key component to educating your clients is to review the entire process. You've likely already touched on it during your buyer or listing consultation, which is the buyer and listing presentation I told you guys about earlier. However, this is a complicated and emotional process that people don't remember everything the first time you tell them, especially when it isn't in proximity. And this is very true. You really don't learn and get the hang of it unless you actually experience it. So you could tell your clients time and time again what the process is. You could show them this sheet right here, and they still won't understand it until they actually do it. Which is fine. So this is true for almost everything in our lives. If I ask you what you're having for dinner a week from today, you wouldn't know. If you don't, are you worried that you don't have an answer? Of course not. That meal is not near your needs right now. Right now, you're much more interested in your next meal, picking up your dry cleaning, getting a present for your niece's birthday this weekend, or a million other things. It's the same with buying and selling process. All right, set time expectations. For example, if you told a buyer they need to get out to see properties the same day they hit the market 2 months ago when they were focused on getting their down payment together, they likely won't remember the details. If you are now setting up their search, you should update them on how quickly the market is moving in their desired neighborhood and price point. Make it clear why it's important to shift their schedules around to the point of inconvenience to see a house that fits their criteria. At this same time, you'll also need to remind them that if they see a house they like, they need to put in an offer right away. The same goes for sellers. Just because you covered how chaotic the first week on the market might be during the listing presentation 2 months ago doesn't mean they remember. Reiterate how important it is to be flexible for showings. So I'm going to circle back to buyers wanting to see houses. It is true. A lot of buyers will ask you if they can show you houses or if you can show them houses before they even get pre-qualified. My recommendation for saying something like that is I would say, let's get you pre-qualified first because you might fall in love with this house today and it might not be here next week and you're not qualified and you won't be able to get it. So let's just go ahead and wait. Let's get you pre-qualified. Let's get that letter. And then when you have that letter, then let's go shopping. Okay? Because yeah, they'll want to see houses before and you don't want to show them before. And depending on the type of market it is too. Sometimes if it is a slower market, I actually would show houses because you want to get that face-to-face interaction with them. So again, if it is a slower market, get that face-to-face interaction with them. They see you're an actual person, they see you're a realtor, you know your stuff, and then they're going to like the house and they're going to say, okay, like let's see if I can qualify for the house. Then you're going to get them in touch with your lender and then they'll hopefully get qualified. Okay. But if it's a fast market and these houses are going quick, just make sure you get your clients pre-approved ahead of time. And then, yeah, same for sellers. So it is important for sellers to be able to show houses, be open to having open houses and showings during the week because you never know. You might get that buyer that just absolutely falls in love with it 2 or 3 weeks in and and they want it. So, you got to be open. For most people, it's very rare to have to make such big decisions in such a short period. Prepare your clients for this change at their day-to-day pace. This is especially important as you get to the time-sensitive portions of the contract. Often, contracts require an answer within 24 hours, if not less, in hot markets. Therefore, you should make sure that your seller knows once the house hits the market so that they will respond to your texts and calls immediately. This is an issue I was having with my sellers. So I was getting all these offers yesterday, and we chose to choose an offer on Monday, and my clients decided to go to Mexico on vacation. And it was so hard, and I was trying to negotiate deals, and I was trying to call them, and I couldn't get a hold of them. And it was very stressful. So remember, you're always staying in communication and setting and reiterating expectations for that process, okay? All right, set document expectations. You will likely need to go over the contract before you ever see a house with your buyers and before showings begin with your sellers. By going over it now when there isn't time pressure, they will have some familiarity with it before they need to rush to put an offer in or quickly decide on acceptance. At each stage, you'll review with them where you are and where you are going. In addition to the contract, what are some other documents you'll need to go over with your clients in our market? So what are some other contracts and documents that you might want to go over with them right now in our market? Or on the contract, or from the contract, the purchase agreement? Like, for example, like maybe inspection waivers, in case you guys want to maybe remove inspections, or property disclosures in case there's a house that they like and there's disclosures that are available for them to look at, view on the MLS, appraisal waivers, lead-based paint disclosures, things like that.
Did you do the HOA stuff at that time too?
Yeah, you can call the listing agent if they have the HOA information. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people usually want to view HOA before they put an offer in. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. VA, somebody said VA, FHA mandatory clause. Absolutely. Home warranty addendum. Yes. There we go. See, you guys know what you guys are talking about. Good. That's good. All right, so let me see what it's telling me to say. Okay, at each stage, you'll review with them where you are and where you are going, future pace with your clients. Be sure that they know everything that is going to happen before it does. I would also talk about, if you guys are going to go over the contracts with your buyers, I would also talk about close of escrow days. I know the lower you the smaller days, like for example, it's usually a 30-day close of escrow. Maybe if you talk about a 21-day close of escrow, call their lender to check to see if they can do that or when's the soonest that they can close, because that will also make your guys' clients offer a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. For example, when talking to buyers who have just submitted their offer, you would tell them how long the seller has to get back to them, what the outcome might be, accept, counter offer, rejection, and what the basic steps would be in each of those 3 scenarios. So we will talk more about that this on the day we cover offers. All right, let's see. Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting over a cold, so. Set communication expectations. Set expectations for communication. Some agents feel like they can never turn their phone off or take the day off. This is very true. This is how I feel every single day of my life. That's not a way to live your life. It's literally telling me. I can't help it though, okay? I can't help it. If you will turn your phone off at a certain time each evening, make sure your clients know this. If they are aware you won't get back to them between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m., they will not be looking for a reply during those hours. So yes, please set expectations with your clients. I know everybody does business differently, and that is totally fine. Me, I personally cannot turn my phone off because I know what it's like to purchase a home and I know how stressful it is and I know how scary it is. And I just would me, again, this is just me. I just wouldn't feel right turning off my phone if my client has like a scare in the middle of the night and they're like, "Well, what does this mean in the contract?" or, anything. Everybody has worries. But there are agents out there that totally turn off their phone at 7 o'clock at night because they want to spend time with their family. And I wish I could do that. I literally wish I could do that, but mentally I cannot do that. So it's totally up to you and how you set your expectations on how you work. So yeah. So let them know that you will check your messages first thing in the morning and attend to anything they need then. This goes both ways. Be sure to find out how your clients prefer to be communicated with. Do they hate texting and prefer phone calls? Should it be a group text to both spouses, or does one work overnight and prefer not to be texted when they are sleeping? Do they have children who need homework assistance and dinner and they'd prefer not to be disturbed during 5 to 8? Okay. So again, it is just that communication with your clients. All right, set contingencies. What will happen if a home comes on the market that is perfect for your buyers the weekend your sister is getting married out of state? Have a plan and communicate it well in advance. For example, if the wedding is on May 1st and you start working with these buyers on March 1st, you already know about the wedding. Communicate it when you meet after signing the agreement and in clear intervals leading up to the date. Be sure they know you have a colleague who will cover the showings if needed. And as a listing agent, perhaps your sellers will be out of town, like I said, and unable to respond to offers on a particular weekend. Get that information well ahead of time and put it into the MLS so agents will know they need to provide a longer response time on offers submitted during that weekend. Also, let your clients know when communication needs to change. For example, you will adhere to their 5 to 8 p.m. no calls rule unless necessary once they put their home on the market. When time is of the essence, we all must act quickly. Make it clear to your clients when that turnaround becomes a primary concern to the success of their purchase or sale. These details should be shared early in your relationship so everyone knows what to expect. And you could always use as an example, let them know like, hey, we're going to be negotiating on this day. We're going to be reviewing offers. Like, I need you available at all times, ready to hear what offers I get and what we can negotiate. All right. Set
Excuse
up.
me, excuse me, can you repeat that again as it relate to, were you speaking on it relating to a no call rule if you're out of town for your client?
Yeah. So it's just like just communicate with your client if they don't accept calls after a certain time, let's just say between 5 to 8, if they don't accept the calls, because maybe that's their time to do homework with their kids, get them ready for bed, get them ready for their baths, all that stuff. Or if maybe they might work late and they don't want to answer calls during that time. It's really good to just communicate with your clients as to what times work best for them and you to communicate.
Okay, do you pass that same information on to the person that's going to be filling in for you when you are not?
Yeah. Just let them know. Just say, hey, I'm out of town, but they don't want to be contacted from this time to this time. And if you need anything, just let me know. Kind of like that.
Thank you.
Any other questions so far? Anybody have questions? Nothing? Okay. All right. So set up to date market expectations. Updating your client's view of the market is another way for you to show your expertise. They need to understand the realities of the market they are in. Oh, this is so true. It is a seller's market or an extreme sellers. Is it a seller's market or an extreme seller's market? Are house sales slowing down to become more of a buyer's market? National trends in housing are often on the news. However, that doesn't mean your clients are paying attention or that the trend nationally is the same as your market. Set clear intervals in which you will re-educate your clients on the current market. A move from a median of 60 days on the market to 45 can have an extreme impact on how quickly your client will find or sell a home, and therefore on the plans they have surrounding that sale. Be sure to translate what the market means to them. In an extreme seller's market where houses are going for an average of 10% over asking, should you be looking at the top of their price point? Absolutely not. In that market, explain that you are setting your buyers up for success by showing them houses below their price point that they can go over asking on. Know what wins in your market and communicate that with your clients. So it's saying, share with participants one of your favorite ways to do this. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if I just have, buyers, your buyers are gonna want to try to max out their price anyways. I've always had buyers that want to, but you kind of have to let them experience it for themselves. Like, for example, one of my agents has a client that he's approved for, let's just say 750. So he'll look at $800,000 houses and offer 700, or he'll offer 750, So you have to let them kind of fail at writing offers for a little bit so that they understand, okay, like these houses are not going under what I'm asking. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
All right, cool. So yeah. Let me see, we got some chats. Yes, thank you, Alice. All right. All right, set expectations seamlessly with your KW tech. Start with your sphere. As usual, KW has technology you can leverage to help you show your expertise clearly and consistently and keep your clients up to date on where you are and where you're going in the process. Utilize the custom checklists and smart plans and opportunities in Command. Market updates can be a part of your custom checklists and smart plans. We will cover checklists more in our contracts to close session. Share your KW app and be sure your buyer and seller guide are up to date and in sync with your current market conditions. Again, this is where your buyer presentation comes in and your seller's presentation comes in, your listing presentation, okay? For example, in parts of the country where natural disasters have made home insurance significantly more expensive in recent years, perhaps you move checking for insurance quotes up in your buyer's timeline from post-inspections to during the inspections and due diligence period. If your market is slowing down, you may put more time early in your seller timeline for home staging to be sure the house will show well in the first days on the market. 2 items you should input into your checklists in Command are to ask for reviews and referrals. This is very true. A lot of people go on Google for reviews, so you want to make sure your clients leave you reviews. And then also to referrals. Every time I work with a client, any client, I ask them if they could just give me 3 referrals. 3 referrals. That's all I ask from each client I have. 3 steps to gaining referrals. Provide value, ask for help, and reward. So it says to refer to your guys' participant guide. You might be thinking, we haven't even put in an offer on a house. Why am I asking for reviews and referrals? Because you are already providing value, which is the first step to gaining referrals and reviews. From the beginning, tell your client, throughout this process, I'm going to give you amazing service and earn your trust so that you'll want every member of your family to work with me. Again, everybody does business totally differently. It's up to you. It's your business. I probably wait till after for reviews and referrals. I just feel like it's polite. So 68% of sellers who use an agent found their agent through a referral by a friend or family. This is very true. Your sphere is one of the best ways to get clients, friends, families. I mean, yeah, There are 3 simple steps to gaining referrals. Provide value, provide stellar service, provide education, advice, and care. Just what we are talking about here. Ask for help. Let people know that your business is based on referrals. Your conversations book has some great, easy ways to ask for this help. It can be as simple as, I rely on referrals. If you know anyone that is looking to buy or sell, I'd be so grateful if you could let me know. People don't know what you need unless you ask for it. Closed mouths, I guess, don't get fed. I honestly say I like to add my, like, in my little slogan. Is it a slogan? Is that what it's called? Slogan? Is that right? I always say, you know, who you work with matters. Like, again, for example, my clients or my clients that I just listed their house at was 1.225. I listed it at 1.225. And we got into contract for 1.608. Like, that's a pretty big, you know, price gap. So yeah, I mean, I put in there, you know, who you work with matters, because people are going to see that I got almost $400,000 over asking price, and they're going to want to work with me. They're going to want to know how I did it. So yeah, reward the behavior of referral. Don't wait for closing. As soon as a client or other member of your SOI tells you they gave out your information, mentions you on social media, or someone calls based on their recommendation, thank and reward the person who referred them. Send a card with a gift card for coffee, take them out for coffee, or better yet, send a small gift to their office where not only will they feel appreciated, but others might ask about it as well. And that's a really good idea. All right, reviews. Finally, ask for reviews throughout the transaction. Has anyone in here done work on their house recently and needed a plumber or like contractors or anything like that? Do you go to the reviews?
No.
No?
Yes, I always go to the reviews.
Yeah, you always want to go to the reviews. Yeah. I mean, this is a little bit different, but I always go to the reviews at restaurants. I want to know what people are saying, and I wanted to see the food, and yeah. So, yeah. We all use the internet pretty much daily to read reviews on businesses to make our decisions. Buyers and sellers do the same. You need to be sure that you have as much of a positive web presence as possible. And great news, you already have your own website through KW. It's the one place you'll be sure your reviews are accurate and accessible. Everybody goes on the internet nowadays. Everybody. Telling potential clients how successful you are at finding and selling homes can be effective. It's even more effective when other people do the bragging for you. It lends statements more credibility. It's a great piece to use in your marketing and buyers and sellers presentation. So yeah, the most important thing you can do to get reviews is familiar, give value, and ask. You should start your relationship by letting the client know that you are going to ask for their 5-star review, just like you did with referrals, and remind them throughout the process. All right. If your purchasing or selling experience exceeds your expectations, would you be so kind to as give me a brief review? I'd also like your permission to use this in my advertising and marketing, which is always good. If somebody always leaves you a review, or if someone leaves you a review, post it on your social media, post it on your Facebook, post it on Instagram. Shoot, do a paid advertisement, like you know, put it out there for everybody to see, because they're gonna see it and they're gonna want to work with you. So check out this request for a review, and it was just what I read. Yeah. Seller reviews. Seller-oriented reviews gain attention when they address things like the client's home sold quickly, they got their asking price or above, they were impressed by the service. So what are some other seller-oriented statements that would be persuasive in a client testimonial? Anybody got any suggestions? Anybody?
What did you say? Sold quickly, asking price at or above, and what was the third one?
They were impressed by the services. So then, so what are some other seller oriented statements that would be persuasive in a client's review?
Friendly and knowledgeable.
Friendly and knowledgeable is good. Yep.
Went above and beyond.
Went above and beyond. Yep. They listened. They listened to me.
Communication was exceptional.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Nice. Anybody else? Okay. Buyer reviews. So buyer-oriented reviews persuade when they say things like the buyer found their perfect home quickly, the agent negotiated a great price, the transaction went smoothly, they were impressed by the services, and what are some other buyer-oriented, did the other one say buyer too? Oh no, those are selling. Buyer-oriented statements that would be persuasive in a client testimonial.
Again, listen to my needs.
Yeah, exactly. She was patient and showed me 74 houses before I found the one.
Now that's real patient.
Yeah, I've actually done that. I showed a client 74 houses before. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And they ended up buying a new build. So, yeah. All right.
Well, at least they still made a purchase.
Yeah, I know they did. Yeah, and they actually, I think I did get a referral fee from there. But it was nothing near what I would have got if I had closed the deal. But again, it was fine. Like as long as they got a house and it was actually a house that really fit them perfectly, I was like, okay, that's fine. As long as I don't have to show any more houses. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. So ahas. Aha moment. Oops. Oh, ah. There we go. We share ahas because they are powerful and meaningful insights that come from reflection on the experience we're having. When we share them out loud, we further strengthen the power of the ahas and we help fellow participants to have powerful ahas as well. So, what are some things that you guys jotted down? I feel like this is kind of like a little mastermind that we can all talk through. So what were your guys' favorite aha moments during this so far?
yeah, you
Let
gotta post all your your reviews on all your social medias.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let people know that your business is based on referrals.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Come on, there's 30 participants in here. I know you guys got some aha moments, or am I that boring?
Reward the person that gave you a referral
Yeah. Yeah,
immediately.
I always anytime even I mean, it doesn't really have anything to do with referrals, but it kind of does. But anytime I close a deal, whether it's a seller or a buyer, I always give them closing gifts that actually relate to them. Like I don't give them a closing gift that is like edible arrangements or something like that. Like I don't do that. Like I give gifts that are relatable to them and they appreciate it so much more. And then sometimes, like if I hang out with my clients afterwards, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, she gave us a margarita machine," or like something like that. Like it gives them something to talk about as well. Like if they get a really cool gift, they're like they can't help but talk about it. So, anybody else? Do I have to start calling on people?
I like what you said when you said after your referral reviews,
Mm-hmm.
um, you rather do it later, afterwards, not before?
Right. Right. Because could you imagine telling somebody, to give you a referral or to give you a review, and then if something were to happen, oh, they're gonna leave you a review, all right. They're gonna leave you a review. So I'd ask after. Or
I would like for you to elaborate on who you work with matter.
So who you work with matters, because you want to work with that agent who's gonna get you that top dollar for your home if you're selling it. Or you're gonna want to work with that agent who gets you, if you're representing the buyer, you get them under asking, or you get them that extra credit. Who you work with matters. So that's what I always put, because and I always highlight the best parts of the transaction. Like, again, for example, for my listing, I got almost $400,000 over asking. Like, so them working with me, it matters, because if somebody else sees that I got them almost $400,000 over asking, they're gonna want to work with me. So who you
And
work
how did you do that?
Bay Area market.
Oh.
Bay Area market.
Competitive pricing.
Competitive market, but it's
Yeah,
just that
yeah.
Bay Area market, and I know, again, everybody does business differently, okay? Everybody does business differently. So for me, what I did, and this might be a little bit risky me telling this, I guess, but a lot of agents out there, they don't really give out the number of what the offers they got. So I don't mind, because I know that if I tell them I got an offer at 1.4, I know somebody is going to come in higher. And I want them to come in higher, especially if I'm representing my seller. Like, I want them to come in higher. And I'm just honest. I'm just honest. So, yeah.
Are you saying, you say that the number of offers that you got don't matter, but what about the price?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the price. So again, if I have two offers in hand and somebody else calls me and they're like, what offers do you have? Or like, are they above asking? I'm gonna say, yeah, they're above asking. They're actually at 1.3. I have one at 1.3. They're gonna be like, oh, okay. And then they're gonna put an offer in at 1.4. And then so on. If somebody else calls me and they're like, hey, do you have any offers? I'm like, yeah, we're about to review offers. Like, you better put one in. I got one at 1.4. They're like, oh, okay, okay. And they put them in higher. I'm just honest. People, it's a risk doing that. It's a risk, but it was a good risk I took. So
Why I thought that was a rule or a fact that you didn't do that, but I'm glad you said that.
It
I'm glad you said-
depends. You have to ask your sellers if it's okay too, though. You have to make sure you're letting your sellers know what's going on. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Any other aha moments? Anything? Okay. All right. Let's
Going
go.
to listings, going to expired and canceled to try to get additional listings.
Yeah. Yeah, those are honestly gold. They're really gold. I mean, especially if you go and you door knock and you give them a CMA, and you could even give them how much a seller's net sheet. So here's something I always do. Whenever I have a seller that wants to sell their house, the first thing I do is find out if they have any loans on it. But I give them a seller's net sheet, because every time I've given them a seller's net sheet and they see how much that they can pocket, they want to sell. They see that number and they're like, oh, I need that, and then they're going to want to sell. So, hitting up those expired listings or canceled listings with CMAs, with comps, with a seller's net sheet, and then with your listing presentation, showing them what you have to offer. Yeah, that would be ideal. I mean, you're basically selling yourself and what you're going to provide, and make sure that you sell their home. And sometimes if you're there and they're face to face with you, like, it's going to be hard for them to tell you no. Sometimes they might just shut the door in your face. Or sometimes they might pull a gun out. I don't know. Whatever
Question.
they do that day.
I have a
But
question.
yeah.
So what do you base when you're doing your door knocking and you have a seller net sheet? What are you basing that off of? Are you looking somewhere for their current amount, or are you just using what they purchased for?
Yeah, so I kind of just go off of like yes, you can look at what they purchased it for. You can base it off of that. If they've owned the house for a really long time, then I base it just off of a free and clear. But you want to get the value of the home, like you want to know what you would list it at. That's what you would do it at.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Okay, now we're at success with buyers. So we've covered a lot so far, which we have, from dual agency to reviews and referrals. Most importantly, we've talked about the key ways to create happy clients relationships, consistently and clearly communicate regarding the current market and the process of buying and selling. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. My nose is running. Oh, sorry. I just got over a cold. Okay. Now let's specifically talk about what buyers need from you. All right, what buyers want most from their agent? Help find the right home to purchase, help buyer negotiate the terms of the sale, help with the price negotiations, and others. So it says, let's see. So help with paperwork is 8%, but I don't even see that on here. Determine what comparable homes we're selling for 6%, and help to determine how much home buyers can afford. So I'm not sure because this says different, but yeah. All right, buyer needs analysis. Who will be living in this home? List adults, children, and pets inhabiting the space. What are the, let me see, what are the non-negotiables for your home? That is very important. What are the non-negotiables for your home? Even though sometimes they do end up changing their minds, but the non-negotiables for the home are definitely key. If you had to name your top 5 non-negotiables, what would they be? Beyond your top 5 needs, what is something you really want? Do you have a preference for the year the house was built? Do you want a house in move-in condition, or are you willing to do some work on it? When people visit your home, what do you want it to say about you? Are there any specific features that would make your next house feel like home? And will you require accessibility options? So also too, different cultures have different needs. It's so important to understand those and ask that. And sometimes when you ask that, they actually like that and they respect you more for it. And they make you, I mean, it's kind of like you know what they want already by asking that. All right. So the first step in stellar buyer service is being aware of their needs. You should have conducted a thorough needs analysis with your initial buyer consultation leading up to your signed agreement. If you didn't, it's your first step post-agreement. Revisit this process in your notes from session 14. So it says, why should we revisit the needs analysis with our buyers? So let me think. Let me see here what I have. So you want to see if or find out if they're growing their family, getting a raise or a pay cut, interest rates are going up and down, a major employer moves out of town and prices inventory change dramatically. A natural disaster happens and price inventory change dramatically. A family member dies. A global pandemic sends everyone home to do work and school. A new job, a loss of a job, loan guideline changes. A crisis requires significant financial outlay. The buyer inherits a significant amount of money, and so on and so forth. There was a client that we just worked with, and he had bought a house 1 year ago for $1 million, okay? This was a year ago. He bought it for $1 million. He is relocating jobs, and now he's selling it for under $1 million. So he's actually going to be taking a loss, just for a job change. So you just never know. You never know. All right, buyers' lives change or buyers' worlds changes. The answers we've brainstormed fall into two basic categories. Buyers' lives change and the world around buyers change. In either case, a buyer's needs can change. Oh my God, so many changes. Whether a change in their lives or the world around them, you may need to revisit the needs analysis during the transaction. Revisit the needs analysis can also help you find out why homes that should be perfect for your buyer are not inspiring offers. Believe it or not, sometimes what we think we desire is not what we need. If you're showing them all the historic houses you thought would have them thrilled to a tepid response, it's time to find out why. It's also common for buyers to get frustrated in a tight market and start looking outside of their criteria. Maybe you have empty nesters looking to downsize who suddenly start looking closer to their current square footage. If so, it's time to find out why. Are they realizing that their earlier number was too small? Are they just getting frustrated at not finding what they need? This is also a great tool to use when buyers start looking above their price point. Revisit their needs and their criteria. Remind them that you are their fiduciary, not just the person who opens the door. So this happened with me. I had cash buyers, and it's usually the cash buyers. They want to see everything. They don't really have, well, these ones specifically, but they didn't really have like a specific search criteria. I mean, they were looking at houses that were completely ready, houses that were completely demolished, houses that they could possibly fix. They were looking at land, they were looking at duplexes, like they were looking at everything. So you want to definitely talk to them about putting that standard right then and there and asking them, what they want. All right, tough conversations equals fiduciary conversations. A thorough and frequently revisited and revised needs analysis is your greatest resource in having tough conversations with clients. Conversations about what they can afford, the realities of the market, timelines, and move-in ready versus fixer-uppers are strengthened by referencing the needs analysis. So what are some other conversations you need to have with your clients along the way?
Basically what they can and cannot afford.
Exactly. That's literally what it says here. Exactly. Yeah. 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 Keep in contact with your lender too, to keep recall up to date. Don't quit your job. Make sure oh God, please tell your buyers to, make sure they watch what they spend. I mean, I always even tell my buyers, like, do not even buy McDonald's. Like, do not use your credit card. Do not buy McDonald's. Like, I don't care. Yeah, don't quit your job. Don't buy things expensive. Do not buy furniture. Do not buy appliances. Do not buy anything. And this goes during the time you find them a house too, and you guys are in escrow. Like, do not buy anything. Again, don't even buy McDonald's on your credit card. I don't care. Like, don't buy anything. So yeah, pay all bills on time. It says here, don't get married, which is true, I guess. Don't get married. Don't change debt to income ratio and what they should do if they find a house outside of the MLS. So, all right. Yeah, one time, oh my God, I literally told my clients, do not buy anything. Don't buy appliances, don't buy furniture, don't buy a car, like don't buy anything. Just don't. And 3 days before close of escrow, they went and they bought brand new furniture for the whole entire house that I literally just told them not to do. And they were like, oh, well, we thought that we could because, I mean, it was basically going to close in 3 days. And I was like, yeah, but they do run your credit like literally right before you close. Like, no. So then we had to actually extend escrow to make sure that they returned all the furniture and then they got a 0 payoff. So we had to show that, and that took like an extra week. I mean, it was just like, yeah. So just If you guys come across buyers, share that story with them. Just share that little story with them, and then they'll realize, okay, don't buy, you know? So, yeah.
Why does not making a huge deposit matter?
A huge why does not make so okay, this is just my way of looking at it. Again, everybody does business differently. My way of looking at it is I feel like it doesn't matter what a huge deposit is, because at the end of the day the seller is still going to get that amount of money. Does that make sense? It looks better if you do put a larger deposit or down payment down. But to me, at the end of the day, I feel like the seller is going to get the same amount of money anyways. Does that make sense?
So in that situation, what is the client thinking, pretty much?
The client thinking in terms of what?
Putting down,
A higher down. So their agent is probably saying, oh, if you put you know, a higher down payment down, the seller's gonna, you know, like that offer more because you're putting more money down. But in reality, like again, everybody does business differently. But like for me, I just feel like if it doesn't matter. I mean, let's say, for example, two buyers are putting in offers, okay? One buyer is putting in an offer at 500,000. Let's say the house is listed at, I don't know, 450. One buyer is putting in an offer at 500,000, and their down payment is 3.5%. Let's just say it's FHA. And there's another buyer who's putting in an offer at 450, and they're putting down a larger down payment, 20%. I'm still gonna go with the 500,000 because my sellers are gonna get the most money, right? So that's kind of the way I look at it.
Okay, we went, that wasn't really what I was talking about. I was speaking about where it says not to make huge purchases nor make huge deposits into the bank.
Okay, yeah. Oh, deposits into the bank. Okay.
Yes, that's what I meant. I'm
So
sorry.
yes, because the loan officer and the underwriter want to see where that money is coming from. There has to be a paper trail. Hello? Did you hear me?
I'm there. I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so they want to see that paper trail. And even like, for example, if you're even a family's even giving you a gift, they don't want that gift money till the very last, like to the end of close of escrow.
Yeah, and I've
Okay.
even
Yeah,
had it
that's what I was
where
thinking.
I've even had it to where we were literally day before closing. My client moved 25,000 and we couldn't sign that day because he had to provide proof where that money went. So you can't do large deposits going in and you cannot do large deposit going out until you get the keys.
Yeah, exactly. And even with that, I mean, I would even wait a day or two after. So even with my clients, I tell them don't purchase anything until like 3 days after close of escrow, just to be safe. So, all right, let's see. Show homes based on needs analysis. Now that we've talked about how we can use the needs analysis to help our buyers stay on track and discusses some conversations we need to have with them, let's talk about specifically about showing homes. Showing homes is a process like everything else. First, you need to find the home that fits your client's needs analysis. You'll find MLS classes to help you do this. You will also need to make sure that your buyer is set up on your KW app and show them how to search for a home and follow the buying process with your guides. In choosing the homes you will show clients is based on their needs, analysis, and expectation settings. As we mentioned, in an extreme seller's market, you should not show homes at the top of your client's price point. You should show them homes that your client would need closing cost assistance from the seller to purchase. Once your MLS search comes back with suitable homes for your buyer, you will preview those homes so that you can choose the best properties to show your buyer on your first trip out. Remember, you are showing your value by sharing your expertise. So for this, I honestly too would recommend, it's okay to show your clients houses that are higher than their price range, not crazy higher, but a little bit higher than their price range, as long as the house has been sitting on the market for a long time. Because if the house has been sitting on the market for a long time, you can go ahead and you could put an offer in for under asking. And that under asking might hit your client's purchase price point. All right. So follow these tips in your participant guide. Show only the best properties for your buyer. Once that you have thoroughly screened in advance and meet their criteria. Have MLS printouts or electronic versions with the pricing information and key details of each property you will show your buyer, including disclosures. Mark properties on a map and answer location questions. Be knowledgeable about the property and neighborhoods. Include recent comparables, sales, so you can answer pricing questions. Point out potential issues, concerns with each houses. I also show them neighborhood reports. I think we get those from the MLS. You can show them neighborhood reports. And also when showing my client's property, I do it in order. I make sure I put all the addresses that they want to see. Let's say they want to see 5 houses in one day. I'll start from the furthest point, but I'll go in order until it's closer to their destination to like get home. I do this because you don't want to be driving all over the place because then they're going to think every house is far. So, yeah. Says okay. So have you guys been previewing homes yet? Like have you guys showed properties yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. How did that go for you? Like, were you guys nervous? Did you guys get help from your productivity coach? Did they kind of like tell you how to show houses? Do you give them anything when you show them houses?
Yeah, you print out the MLS. They have like a client pool, or you could do the summary. It just really depends on what you're looking at, but you always print that out and give that to them beforehand.
Okay. Cool. Do you guys usually do like the map thing, kind of like what I said, where you start at one point, but you put all the houses in order so that you're not driving all over the place?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Interesting. I just
I
had
know that now.
Good. Hey, this is what this class is for. It's to learn new things.
I heard that today. My productivity coach brought that up, and that's what he does. That was
Yeah.
in coach training today, so I received it.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
good. That's
Very
good.
good.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, I do that. And I also, point out like if it's close to like grocery stores, all that stuff. Schools, what schools are nearby, because schools are very important for some people. Sometimes maybe hospitals are important to people. Yeah. Is there any questions so far? No? Okay.
Yeah, I guess I have one question for you.
Okay.
So what would you say is kind of like the amount of time you're putting into getting this information per each showing? Like if you did have 5 for the day.
I mean, okay, so this is how I time everything out. So I give every property, like say I'm showing 5 houses that are in the same city. I usually time everything out by a half hour, but then again, it depends on if the houses are vacant as well. If it's vacant, then you could just go ahead and show. But sometimes they're owner occupied and you have to be there at that exact time. So I kind of just time everything. Usually the houses are mostly vacant. But I time everything like within a half hour spread. So I'll do one house at 1 o'clock, the next house at 1:30, the next house at 2, the next house at 2:30, the next house at 3. So that's usually what I do.
And I guess like kind of like a second part to that is kind of like, I mean, like all the printout stuff, the details you're going to provide for each showing. I'm saying like how much time are you putting into like finding the school districts? Like, do you have like a little template you use and real quick write that stuff down?
You know, it's not like a little template I use. I just kind of, so what I do is I get the 5 houses and the first thing I do is I put them in order. And then I call each one and see, you know, if they have any offers in hand. If, you know, I just want to if they're vacant, I still want to let the agent know that I'm going to view the property. I introduce myself. So it's kind of like a process. And then, you know, I put it in order. Okay, that one's at 1 o'clock. Let me print out the MLS sheet. Let me print out the neighborhood report, and then schools and everything that are nearby. So that's what I do for each house. Then I'll call the next one. Okay, they just chose an offer, so I'll scratch that one off. Okay, the next house. Okay, yes, they can see at 1:30. So then I'll get the MLS, all that stuff. And then I also make 2 copies. So I make my clients a copy and I make myself a copy so that when we arrive at that house, they have a copy and I have a copy. And if they have any questions, I have everything in my hand. So time-wise, I mean, maybe once you start getting the hang of it, like an hour to get everything in order, maybe a couple just to be safe if you want to take your time. But I know starting out as a new agent, it's going to take you a little while to get in the hang of things. So yeah.
You can also contact your title company because like I have title Chicago title, and so they gave me like this mobile app, and you can literally put in the address and then it will give you like the shopping centers, the schools, like everything within that property, and that takes you like 3 minutes max. And you just do that for every property, but you would have to get with your title company.
Yeah. Yeah. There's Title Flex. I don't know if it's on Title Flex, but yeah, definitely get with your title company and get them set up, get you set up on those apps because those apps are really good for all that. Any other questions? No? Okay. All right. Showing homes means agent interaction. Once you're ready to show homes to buyers, always read the listing agent remarks and be sure you are scheduling according to the listing agent's instructions. Calling the listing agent to schedule an appointment when the instructions clearly say they would like you to use a scheduling service, not to endear you to them. Trying to schedule for tomorrow when the instructions say the first showing isn't for 2 days is similarly challenging. This doesn't mean you can't contact the agent to ask questions not answered in the MLS. Just be sure to read the listing and all attachments first, which is very true. Please do that, you guys. Remember, scheduling is the first contact you have with your potential co-op agent. Again, even if a house is vacant and it just says go directly and show, I still call and I still introduce myself and I still always say, hey, I know your listing said to go directly and show, but I just wanted to call and introduce myself and I just want to check to see if you had any offers in and I wanted to let you know that I will be going to the property. So that's always what I do because I always want to introduce myself. How you make that contact matters for how they will see you throughout the transaction. If your system enables feedback, leave it. Feedback helps the listing agent to inform sellers of how their home is being seen. It allows them to show off their expertise, and you helping them to do it is being a good colleague. Do be diplomatic. Some agents have comments that go directly to sellers, and if you say the house smells terrible, they may get an earful from their seller. This will not endear you to them. If scheduling well in advance, always confirm your appointment with your buyers and the listing agent 24 to 48 hours before. Sometimes that does not happen. Sometimes you will get a house that comes on the market and your clients want to see it right away. So it happens. But yeah. Okay, home tour toolkit. So be ready with your home tour toolkit. Hand sanitizing wipes, paperwork. That's the paperwork that I was telling you about. Maps, first aid kit, flashlight, level, tape measure. Tape measure is important because some buyers will come in and they'll be like, oh, I need to know where I'm going to put my couch. pens, notebook, paper goods, tissue, toilet paper, graphite for sticky locks, hand wipes, masks, shoe covers, business cards, umbrellas in case it's raining, beverages and snacks, entertainment for kids. Tape measures and toilet paper or wipes, yeah, please, in case there are kids and sometimes people have to go to vacant house. Safety first when showing homes. And don't forget safety. Remember the tips from open houses. Always be aware of your surroundings and only meet clients that you have already vetted. Do not go to a vacant house with an unknown buyer alone. Follow your instincts. If at any point you do not feel safe for any reason, end the showing. Always announce yourself, even if you've been told a listing is empty or the owners will be gone. Knock before opening the door and announce yourself loudly and repeatedly upon entering. I always do that. Even if I know that they're not going to be there, I always do it. Warn clients that many homes have cameras and even audio recording equipments. Keep comments on the home out of the range of the home itself. The driveway is not good enough. Either cross the street or talk to them on the phone or at a different location. So yes, please make sure any house you go to, any house, just let them know, hey, there might be cameras, like just watch what you say. So yeah, I mean that goes for me. I listed one of my ranches and I had a camera in there and I always listened. I always listened. So yeah. Also consider health safety. More likely after the COVID pandemic, a few sellers might maintain some safety measures like wearing face masks. Be sure you read through all instructions and that you and your clients adhere to seller requirements for showings. Please do that. All right, job equals sell homes. Job does not equal show homes. Remember, your goal is to sell a home, not show homes. Pay attention to your buyer's body language and cues to avoid continuing to show them homes they don't like, even if they are the best ones from your search. If you show the buyer the first 2 homes on your list and they hate them, and you know they will hate the third, cancel your last showing. Use that time to dig deeper into their preferences and needs because you've missed something. That I don't recommend doing, because there are sometimes that the houses that you think they will not like, they actually like the most. So yeah. With each showing, you should be getting closer to putting in an offer. Consider this property elimination question. If you had to choose a property, house to purchase right now, which one would you select? A or B? Okay, great. We can cross A off the list. In your expectation setting prior to showing them homes, you'll need to let buyers know that they are unlikely to find the perfect house because it probably doesn't exist. You are looking for a house that meets their needs, not their every desire. It's like looking for a partner or a spouse. If you're waiting for someone perfect, you're going to stay single. Oh my God, this is funny. If you found a person that was 80% perfect, you'd be lucky. The same goes for houses. So if you find an 8 out of 10, especially in a seller's market, that's a house they should likely be making an offer on. When your client is ready to buy, be quiet, stop selling, and get an offer submitted as soon as possible. All right. Reasons buyers hesitate. Your job is to help your buyers make the best decision for them. Buying a home is a big deal and buyers can experience hesitation and reluctance. They are afraid to commit. They don't like some minor details of the home. They feel that they haven't seen enough homes or they need to sleep on it and or get opinion of a trusted advisor. Guidelines to facilitate decision making. Help your buyer make decisions with the following. Always go back to their motivation, go back to their needs and wants, advise them as a consultant and fiduciary, allay their fears, solve their challenges, and calculate the cost of waiting. All right, any ahas? Aha moments? Ahas? I think we're almost done. Kind of. Almost. Hold on.
Quick question for you.
Okay.
So just with so say you did have your 5 showings and on the second showing, they really liked it. So you're advising to still go look at the other 3 if they're this is the one. Like
I
this is
would,
the one actually I want to like move forward with.
I mean, if they tell you right then and there, like this is the house I want to put an offer in, I don't even want to see any other houses, then don't. Like don't. Just put an offer in for them. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But if they're kind of like, because on the thing it said that if the two houses that you thought they would like the most and they didn't like them, and then you're thinking that the third one, oh, they're for sure not gonna like this one, don't show it. Don't do that. Like, because there was houses that I thought that my clients would actually like that had everything that they ever wanted, and they didn't like them. But then the house that I thought that they wouldn't like, they actually liked them. But in the case that you're saying, if they're telling you, I love this house, I want to put an offer in on it, then say, okay, let's put an offer in on this house, and we could go ahead and cancel the other showings. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. You guys are so quiet, and then I'm like, I don't know if they liked what I said. All right. So, okay. All right, success with sellers. We've covered some common aspects of working with buyers from agreement to offer. Now let's focus on what sellers need from us during this time period. Okay, we're going to cover this chart. So help price home competitively, 21%. Help seller market home to potential buyers, 20%. Help sell the home within specific time frame. I think that is, I don't know what that's 16 or help seller find ways to fix up home to sell it for more, or other. All right, we start in the same place with sellers that we do with buyers, their needs analysis. For sellers, we need to know their price, time frame, and conveyance so you can get them great offers from able, ready, and willing buyers. Price, time frame, conveyance. Seller's life change or seller's world changes. Oh my God, I'm gonna be saying the word change a lot again, and I'm gonna get tongue twisted. Just as with buyers, when things aren't going as you think they should, you need to revisit and perhaps even revise their needs analysis. Just as with buyers, either the seller's life can change or the world around the seller can change. For example, the seller could lose their job, so carrying the mortgage on the house becomes difficult or impossible, thus changing their time frame. Perhaps the seller finds their dream home, puts in an offer, and needs to remove predications ASAP, also changing their time frame. Or perhaps the local economy shifts, putting fewer buyers in that price range on the market and or flooding inventory as people sell to move away, which could shift their price and or their conveyance. Stay in touch, over communicate, and know when you need to change your game plan by altering the needs analysis. All right, seller's control, price and the condition. There are two things the seller can control, price and condition. Your job is to know the market and advise them on how to get the best price with the least work in the quickest time frame. Therefore, you need to know your market. You need to know your market to know how they can best prep their house. Tell the participants. Oh, okay. So for me, for prepping a home, it depends. If the house is vacant, get it staged. The sellers can actually pay for staging, pay out of escrow. Make sure the house is clean. Make sure it just looks presentable. I mean, sometimes you are gonna get those listings that aren't as presentable, but yeah, just make sure it just looks clean. Make sure all the seller's personal belongings are locked away, please. And yeah. All right. Sensitive seller conversations. Getting a home ready to sell for the highest price with the least work in the best time frame can involve some sensitive conversations. Hardly anyone keeps their house show ready at all time, and it's more of a challenge for some sellers than others. So what are some issues that come up with sellers and the condition of their home that you have to deal with delicately? What are some conditions of homes that you guys might come across that you have to handle
Clutter.
with care?
Pets.
What? Pets, exactly. What was the first one?
Clutter.
Palata?
Clutter.
Clutter.
Oh, clutter.
Clutter.
Okay, clutter. Yes, clutter. Yes, smells. Pets. Yeah, unclean. Maintenance maybe. Even some personal decor. Sometimes the decor, the furniture is older. I know when I first listed my ranch, I mean the furniture it was really bad. It was like it was old. I mean, it was my grandparents' furniture. Maybe even some illegal activities. I don't know, maybe there's some stuff in the house. Guns in the houses, jewelry, cash, other expensive items. Um, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we must apply, hold on, I got some chats. Yep. We must apply the communication standards we discussed at the beginning of this session. Keep these in front of you as we look at a conversation template. Help sellers see their listing through the eyes of buyers in your participant guide. So it's saying to ask to read, but it's okay. Provides a strong foundation for sustaining relationship, sets and manages expectations proactively throughout the transaction, creates peace of mind for your clients, and enhances your credibility. Now that we've talked about the words we can use and how they fulfill our goals, can you think of anything else you can do to enhance these 4 pillars of great communication? So it's saying, come prepared, dress well, use body language and tone to convey interest, care, and empathy. If a client violates fair housing laws, remind the client of their obligations under the Fair Housing Act. Discontinue representation of the client. Report the incident to your broker immediately. Fully document the situation and consult an attorney if uncertain. So sometimes if a client is they're a liability, it's okay to not take every single client. If you feel they are a liability, it's okay to not work with them. Okay? I know sometimes people say, I don't want to miss out on a check, but sometimes it's better to because, again, they might be a liability. So unfortunately, there is another uncomfortable conversation you may be forced to have with the seller. You may have to inform your client that they are violating the Fair Housing Act, and if they refuse to stop their course of action, you will have to withdraw their listing and cancel your listing agreement. According to NAR, if you have a client who is violating fair housing laws, you should follow these best practices. Remind the client of their obligations under the Fair Housing Act and your policy not to discriminate. Discontinue representation of a client who has in word or deed what they've said or done violated fair housing laws. Report the incident to your broker immediately. Fully document the situation in writing, including all clients' actions and those you took in response. If you are unsure if a client is violating fair housing, consult an attorney. All right, no commission is worth your reputation. There is absolutely no commission that is worth your integrity, your reputation. Remember the Y for C2T's ES with the new E. We discussed the value of including a statement of your commitment to upholding fair housing laws in your listing agreements. Eventually, doing so will allow you to avoid these issues. If they come up, you should report the conversation to your broker immediately and discontinue representation. This will not only protect you legally and will always help you prevent discrimination. Okay? All right. So far, we have focused on our relationship and communication with the seller. We also covered seller needs and saw that sellers are looking for an agent to market their home. Let's talk just a little about how you are going to market the listing and your brand. Highly productive listing agents market both their brand and their listing at the same time. The marketing opportunity provided by listings is why they are one of the 3 pillars of a successful real estate agent business: leads, listing, and leverage. When you focus on your listing, buyers will come. We've already talked a lot about how you can do this in our sessions on lead generation, particularly open houses. Open houses should be one part of your marketing plan as they are highly leveraged. MREA has a 14-step marketing plan for listings. Also too, again, everybody does business differently and I'm totally fine with it. For me, whenever I see a listing agent list their property and they're using pictures from their camera phone, it's such a disheartening to your clients. It doesn't look right, you know, and you want your clients to get the best. And you could even put in there that you know, if you can find good professional photographers for cheap, you really can. So that's one thing I look at people's listings. So capitalize on your listings by marketing your brand at the same time to bring in more listings and buyers. Listing leverage leads. The message you put out to attract prospective buyers and sellers is everything. Why would they want to contact you in this market? What would they get if they did? These two questions are at the heart of all effective messaging. Okay, your MLS listing reflects your brand, so get it right. Have the right documents for your region and market center uploaded. Utilize the right professionals to get great pictures and floor plans, and set the right schedule for your listing. Not only should you be strategic on how to market a home and yourself, much of which we've covered in lead generation and more that you can learn about from Connect live sessions and other Keller Williams training such as No Ceilings. Level up your lead generation. You should set your listing up for success by having all necessary documents for your MLS and that you're giving potential buyers and their agents the best view of the home. Have the right documents for compliance from your region and market center. This also saves you time in answering questions and reflects your professionalism. We will talk about creating a positive relationship with your co-broker in just a moment. The MLS listing is a first glimpse that they have of you as a listing agent, so be sure that it's a professional one. Also, most MLSs have fines for not uploading the correct compliant documents. This is true. Utilize the right professionals to get great pictures and floor plans. You may even consider staging, real or even virtual staging for some listings. Remember, you're not just marketing the house. A lower price listing or even a rental is still a representation of your brand. Again, this is you you're representing. Is it worth it to get professional photos and floor plans when these documents will present the agent as well? Also, great pictures and other aspects of your listing marketing can be used in future listing packets and marketing as well. Let me see if we'll talk about the time. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Oh. Okay. So set the right schedule for your listing. What is the right schedule for listings in your market? Do certain areas have broker agent tours on particular days? Are NFL game days a no traffic day in your area? Is your seller able to leave the house more readily on the weekends than weekdays? Does it make sense to schedule an open house 2 days after listing and hold all showings until that day to build interest and reduce inconvenience for the seller? Our open house is well attended in the first week on the market and then not so much after that. Do you see an increase in interest in home listed on a Thursday or Friday? Okay, so this is what I do. I always list my properties on a Wednesday. People will see them Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I do an open house Saturday, Sunday, and I put in the MLS that my seller will be reviewing offers on Monday. So that way people have more than enough time to go ahead and get an offer in. And then if they see, you know, offers are being reviewed on Monday, they're going to want to put an offer in if they really love the house. So that's what I always do. And it's worked so far.
Can you say your schedule again? Because I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I always list it on a Wednesday. Buyers have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to view it. Saturday, Sunday, I host an open house, and then we choose offers on Monday. Okay. So I usually tell them it just depends on your seller. For this case example, We chose an offer at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So everybody had their offers in by Monday morning. And we chose an offer on Monday. All right. As always, KW provides technology to help you market your listings and your brand in the most effective, efficient, and cost-effective ways. Command includes designs where you can get templated options for door hangers, social media posts, flyers, postcards, and more, or create your own. And once you input your personal business assets, name, picture, logo, team name, etc., these will be saved for you to use over and over again. All right, proper signage. No matter how much technology changes and we use our phones to find everything, including homes, sign calls still occur. And a sign is one of your best marketing tools. And that's true because people will, once a sign goes up, I guarantee you all the neighbors are gonna see your sign and they're gonna call you and ask to see how much their house is worth as well. Be sure your sign clearly displays how people can contact you. Always get your sign designs approved by your market center before ordering them, or you may have signs that you cannot use. So yes, please do that. Be sure you put your sign up as early as you're allowed and in the most advantageous places allowed. Don't forget about the NAR Clear Cooperation Policy, and it's all right here. Yeah. All right, ahas. Any ahas? We're almost done. We're almost done. We only have like 2 sheets left. Wait, yeah. Any ahas?
I have a question actually.
Okay.
When you said that you list on Wednesday and then you allow them to still see the house Wednesday through Friday,
Yeah.
what if someone submits an offer, say Wednesday? Normally the offers expire within 3 days, but you're saying you're not going to review it till Monday.
Mhm.
Does that mean their offer then is expired and you can't counter it?
Yeah, no, you can. So even though an offer expires, if they still want a house, you can still counter it. It's totally fine.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. That's a good question. That's a really good question. Give you props.
I have a question.
Okay.
Earlier you brought up conveyances. So could you like really quick walk through how you have that conversation?
Conveyances?
Like, well, I understood conveyances as what they're willing to give up to get the buyer. So as it's from a seller standpoint.
What they're willing to give up,
Like I would give you, well, maybe conveyances. Maybe I'm confusing conveyance with concession. So
oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it again, it depends on the market. Some buyers will ask for a 10,000 credit back towards closing costs, and that'll cover their closing costs. So that doesn't have to come out of their pocket. Is that what you kind of mean by me like that?
yeah, well, I was going with it. So I don't have a buyer, right? So when I had kind of have to have that hard conversation with my seller
Oh, okay.
about, hey, you need to be willing to do X, Y, and Z.
Okay. Oh, I get what you're saying. So if it
Mhm.
is that kind of market where buyers are requesting, credit back, yeah, definitely let your seller know. But sometimes it might not be that. Where are you from?
I'm in Yuma, Arizona.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I would just kind of fill out what kind of market it is out there. I'm not sure what the market is out there. But talk to your team lead, talk to your are you a newer agent? Do you have a productivity coach?
I do, and this is my first listing. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would talk to them about it and just kind of see how the market is first. See if sellers are giving, concessions right now. Because they might not be. I'm not familiar with that area. But I would definitely ask and see what somebody else says who's in the business selling a lot. Ask them. Yeah.
I do. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Okay, success with co-agents. We've talked a lot today about your relationship with your buyers and sellers. We've even touched on some of the ways your broker and market center can help you to understand your role during this period. Let's end this session by briefly discussing another important relationship with your co-op agent or your co-op agent. Oh my God. Clearly I'm tired, okay? All right, success with co-agents. At this point in the transaction, you'll likely be communicating with several different agents, either listing agents on properties your buyers are interested in, or buyers agents representing buyers interested in your listing. Though these contacts may be brief, they are still important. Always remember that you are making the only first impression you're going to get on the agent, who may have a great deal to do with your client successfully buying or selling a home. You can make yourself memorable by being great or terrible, and you will see these people again. You are colleagues now. Be sure to treat everyone with respect and professionalism. Do you need to call another agent at 9 p.m.? Sometimes you do. Most of the time you don't. Consider an email if your issue isn't dire. As a buyer's agent, did you read all the agent's instructions before calling for an appointment on the MLS? Did you guys read everything? If not, be sure to do so. Never be afraid to ask questions. Do your due diligence to make sure the answer isn't already in the MLS listing. That I've done that before. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes I would just skip some things and I would call and they'd be like, "Didn't you read the MLS?" And I'd be like, no, I didn't. So, yeah, please read the MLS and all of it, like literally all of it. As a listing agent, have you included all the information that both sells the house and answers the questions your colleagues need to be answered? Are there standard seller disclosures that need to be submitted with an offer? If so, include them. Does your seller require at least 48 hours to respond to all offers? Put it in the agent remarks. Will the house not be approved for an FHA or VA loan due to the condition? Let your colleagues know before they waste their time and that of the FHA buyer. So that's actually an honest mistake. Some people do have that. Sometimes if a house does not qualify for FHA, sometimes somebody does submit an offer for an FHA, but it does state at the bottom of the MLS listing what the property qualifies for. So you can, again, make sure you read everything because everything is very important up until the very bottom. And don't forget that Keller Williams has a profit share. So you could also be making a first impression on an agent that could one day be in your downline and contribute to your passive income for the rest of their career. So yeah.
I
Any
have a question.
questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. So if I have a listing, how do I know if it's going to qualify for an FHA or VA loan?
So you should know, I mean, you could ask, are you a new agent, like a newer agent?
Yes.
So you could ask your productivity coach, like what would qualify for an FHA home. So like, for example, an FHA home has to be in livable condition. So sometimes if the carpet has a rip in it, like it can't have a rip in it because it has to be in livable condition. Or if there's a crack in the window, it can't have a crack in the window for FHA. FHA has to have air conditioning and heating. So there's different qualifications for each loan. And again, with every single deal, you'll learn as you go. You will learn as you go. But you also have your coach too to kind of guide you through those qualifications. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, it was nice to see all of you guys. This is my first time doing Ignite at Night, and I liked it, so I'll probably be doing this again. But I hope that you guys learned a lot, and if you guys want to find me on social media, I'm on Instagram. My name is Jenny Raylene. I'm gonna add it in the chat. That's my Instagram. So yeah, add me. And if you guys have any questions in the future, please reach out to me. I'm always open, okay? Oh, thank you. Thanks, guys. So yeah, thank you again, and I hope you guys have a
Thank you
good
very
night.
much.
Yeah, thanks. All right. Good night, you guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.